Alright, so a lot of people may want to indicate that there's some seats or dashboard or things like that. You can use your cool gray and maybe do this before the chalk part of it, but you can indicate that there's some stuff back there, you know, something like this. That's totally fine. Or you can just not. It's up to you, but don't be adding too much detail back in there, because you don't want to. I don't know. It's just tricky doing that part of it. But all right, look, let's get to tires and stuff and keep this moving. I want to you know, do my tire outline like that. Make sure you get that. Practice those ellipses. They are tough, so make sure you check some of my other videos if you have ellipse questions. Now this video is, or this wheel is turned a little bit, so you can tell like that's not a complete ellipse scenario there, but I'm going to draw the lines going under, and then I'll continue on with my black marker and just clean up this bottom edge like that. So I'll bring this around and then around this way like that. So we'll add the shadow at the very end. I'm not going to do it right now. Also for this roof line, since I have my black out, I'll probably bring this around like this, and bring up this top line a little bit. Some people will add window line with a pencil or something. You can do that. I'm just kind of rushing here because I want to give you a feel of all of the things involved instead of just a few. So, all right, so we've got a little bit down in terms of color. What I want to do next is bust out a fine point black. Now here's a this is another Prisma. This one's got a more of a felt tip end to it. But for these wheels, what I may want to do is, if it's, I mean, I don't know what you're feeling like, but if it's something like this where it's different, you know, kind of spokes, and I realize those are sloppy, we'll go back and clean those up. But a great thing you can do to practice is, you know, just go in the parking lot or even the like auto parts stores or Pep Boys or something, and practice drawing rims, because it's definitely tough. I'll go ahead and do a little shading in here, especially trying to find the right angle to keep those lines straight. Now you can imagine, you know, back here is the inner lip of the wheel. So I usually just draw this all black. I may hint at a little bit of a you know, a little bit of a brake drum or something in there, but for now just put these in like this. You can bring out a little bit of shading on the underside like that, and then just fill them in. So the trick with wheels is not to overdo it with you know, they're mostly black and white. To be honest, they're mostly white. They're just sky, you know, cloud reflections if they're metal. I'm sorry, if they're not, if they're chrome or polished, you know, kind of look to it. So don't feel like you have to overdo it. I'm just going to add some black and some shadows in there. I may add a little bit of black here for where that vent is, but where I really want to bring out that vent is in with my darker red marker. Darker red marker, that rhymed, like that. And then back here as well with the spoiler. All right, so we're getting there. We're definitely on the road. I want to get my black fine point marker, because what we're going to do for some of these lines, we're going to do some black, but then we're also going to bust out a little bit of dark red to indicate things like hood closures and door lines. So I'm going to get in here and do a little bit of like that with my red marker. Maybe bring this up. Still don't know what's going on here. I know it needs headlights, so I guess, you know what, let's figure that out now. I think what we'll do is we'll make this kind of a headlight, and then we'll just imply that it's also over here, and then I'll bring in my eraser. Let's get some of this red out of here. And then for you know, for doing headlights, a lot of them are, you know, LED. There's not a whole lot to do here. You can give it kind of a kind of an outline like that. There's not a ton to do there, so don't overdo it, because we're going to work on that with our white at the end. Now back to our wheels. So with your chalk, you know, remember your chalk, get some of your black back on here, and we'll just want to kind of dust it like that from the top, you know, because that's shadow, and then from down here. So I'm just bringing some depth out, and I have another video all about wheels where we will just look at that aspect of it. But you know, don't overdo it. When you're done, you can clean up that horizon line, clean up some of this with your eraser, and you know, keeping it mostly white, because we're going to go back in with the white highlights, and we'll clean that up. All right, now back to your black marker. There's still a couple things we may do with our black marker. We will go over, I'm sorry, black pencil. We'll go over some of what we did with the roof line, some of the door line, indicate that there's some sunroof kinds of panels back there. Maybe bolden this wheel line here a little bit, some of these, and your red marker as well, blend some of that. Okay, so those are some of the things that that we can do. Maybe we'll pop this headlight a little bit too. Up here, not seeing the greatest blend in here, so maybe we'll see about blending some of that too. Don't forget about your magical, your white pencil too. Your white pencils, we might come back at the very end and indicate, you know, there's some roof line activity here, and you know, things like that. Your headlights are going to be huge. Now I actually messed up, and we should have just had the headlights to begin with. But the really cool part is now you're going to come in, you know, at the very end with your gouache paint. Make sure you watch my other videos about gouache paint. I'm not going to go into it now, but you know, now is the really fun part where we're you know, putting in some of these highlights like this. Remember, use sparingly, children. This is big boy stuff here, and if you use too much, it's gonna look whack. All right, so I'm gonna pull out some of these headlight highlights like that, and then your wheels. This is really like the most fun part, is getting these wheels in here. To get that bulge, I sort of push down a little bit when I'm applying it like that. So I'll put some down here at the bottom like this. Some people will even get so far as to sort of imply at some of the tire marks like that. That's cool. I like that. The rear one does have it too, but just not as much. You don't have to spend as much time doing it back there. Depending on the absorbency level of your paper, you may have to go back and reapply to a few places, but you know, have fun with this part. Always cool when you get to this stage of it. Now we rush through a lot of things. There's a couple other parts where I may want to use like a darker red or even a lighter color like an orange to bring out, you know, some tones here that I'm seeing. And I think we will definitely want to continue working on this, making this top part a little darker. And if you have a couple different colors of chalk, you know, you can use your dark red. Yeah, so you can see, like, this could definitely take some more here. But, you know, if you're in a rush, oh, don't blow on it, use your magic thingy. If you're in a rush, or you're just trying to crank out a quick design, this is a good method to use. So that's sort of a step-by-step process for drawing a car. If you have questions, or you want me to take a look at some of your work, you can always hit up my Facebook page if you want to post something there for me to take a look at. And if you have any questions on specific aspects that you're looking for, just let me know. So that's today's demo. See you later.